Alright, welcome to Module 6 of this course, Convert Like Clockwork Training Boot. And in this Module 6, we are going to look into optimizing your website for conversions. Like we've said in the previous classes, there's really nothing your business is doing online if your website is not optimized. So that's why website optimization is very important and is the crux of this entire course. And in this class, Module 6, we will be diving deep into how to optimize your website for conversion and making sure that you get your desired results. So we'll cover a couple of things under it. We're going to look into how to improve your website speed and performance, how to enhance your user experience and navigation, your UX, and also we're going to explain some tips of mobile optimization, making sure that your website looks good on mobile devices. And very importantly, we'll go back and look at how to create high converting landing pages. I know we've looked at how to create high converting landing pages in one of the previous classes, but we're going to just have an overview of that section of the class once again, because it's very important that we understand the subject matter of creating landing pages when it comes to getting higher conversion rates in your business and all. Alright, getting started with improving your website's speed and performance. Website speed and performance are very critical factors in conversion rate optimization. They're very important because slow loading websites can actually frustrate your visitors and lead to high bounce rates. High bounce rate is like the rate at which people come to your website and leave almost immediately without taking any actions. So we're going to let's look at a few points about improving your website speed and performance. The first thing we're going to look at is optimizing your images, minimizing your HTTP requests. Also, I will explain a bit about enabling browser caching, because it's important. Also, using a content delivery network to deliver some of your content some of the content on your website. And we'll look at optimizing your website code, and as well as leveraging server-side performance improvements. Alright. Now, when we talk about optimizing images for your website, we're talking about you being able to compress images without sacrificing the quality to reduce load time, and also use some sort of modern image formats like WebP and lazy loading methods to deliver your images to help improve the performance of your website. So your images have to be delivered in a lower size, that is you being able to compress it, and you can also use formats that load faster on the web like WebP formats, and also make you set up your pages to use what is called lazy loads. If you're not a web designer or understand a couple of things about setting up a website, you may not really understand these terms, but if you do know how to set up web pages, you understand what lazy loads are. Lazy loads are those features that allow images to load. As you scroll down, you're going to see that images are loading as you scroll down. So that helps your website to load faster and perform, and kind of increases the speed of your website because all images are not loading at once. And then the second thing we need to look at when it comes to enhancing your user experience is also minimizing the HTTP request of your website, like we talked about previously. And minimizing the HTTP request of your website entails things like reducing the number of elements on your page, like the number of images that you have on the page, the amount of scripts and CSS files that loads on your page. And by decreasing this number, you decrease the number of the HTTP request, and then the images combined they are reduced in size, and this helps your web pages to load faster. So you don't have to clutter your web pages with lots of images and videos. And you need to also reduce the scripts, like HTML scripts, whatever kind of JavaScripts, other kind of external scripts that you have on your website. You need to reduce the amount that you load on your website so your website can load faster. And next, I talked about enabling browser caching. Browser caching is that element on your site that allows browsers to store static files locally. So the importance of doing this is by enabling your website to load static files locally. You don't have to reload them every single time user visits your site. So what it does is this: your website caches, stores your website files on the visitor's device, so that when next they visit your site, it automatically just picks those elements that are already stored on their devices, and your page loads pretty faster for them. So website caching is very important. That's why when you visit some sites, you notice that notification that tells you that this site makes use of some cache elements that helps the website to work better. The next, I talked about using content delivery networks to deliver the content on your website. CDN networks are kind of external sources that host the files on your website, so you don't really have to overload your server and your storage system. So it helps you to distribute your website content across multiple servers around the world to reduce the latency and also improve the load time for your international visitors. Not necessarily only your international visitors, it's every visitor to your website. It helps, kind of improve load time, because your server does not have to deliver all of your files at once from itself. So some of your files are delivered from these content delivery networks, and it makes your website to really load pretty fast. Then I talked about optimizing the code on your website. So it's really about you minifying codes like your CSS, your JavaScript, your HTML, by removing unnecessary characters, comments, and spaces. And then this can reduce the entire the overall file size, and then eventually the end result is to improve the load time of your website. And lastly, I talked about leveraging server-side performance improvement, and this is about upgrading your hosting plans and using faster server hardware and improving your database to handle requests more efficiently. For instance, if your website is currently hosted on a shared hosting platform, by upgrading your hosting plan to things like VPS hosting or dedicated server hosting plan, which some hosting platforms offer, you are actually going to be leveraging some more advanced resources to deliver your website to visitors, which improves the overall speed and performance of the website. So it's pretty important to improve the speed and performance of your website when we're talking about conversion rate optimization, because when people come to your website and they're not able to get content delivered to them almost instantly, it tends to kind of increase your bounce rate. And when you have high bounce rate, you will hardly get results from the website, because visitors will leave as soon as they come if they don't get the content delivered almost instantly. So making sure that you have high performing and high speed website, it's very important, and you need to pay attention to some of these factors that I've talked about, which is optimizing your images, making sure that you reduce them by compressing your images and reducing them in size, minimizing the HTTP request of your website by reducing the amount of scripts and code that you have, external script and code that you have on your website, enabling browser caching, making sure that your website is able to store your files locally on the visitor's device, so when next they come to your site, your website on your pages loads pretty faster for them. And then also making use of content delivery networks that host some of your large files, so you don't really overload your server. And then optimizing your code as well, removing unnecessary characters and spaces and things like that to make sure that your code actually delivers pretty fast. and leveraging server-side improvements. You can go from shared hosting plan to VPS or dedicated servers. It's about improving the hosting plan that your website is currently running on to a more faster and more efficient server hosting plan. So this is just some of the things that you can do to improve the speed and performance of your website, and it goes a long way in increasing your overall conversion rate for your website. The next we'll have to talk about is enhancing your user experience and navigation on your website. This is really very important, because a seamless and intuitive user experience is essential for keeping your visitors engaged and encouraging conversions. And let's look at a couple of things that would actually enhance your user experience and your navigation on your site. We're talking about simplifying your navigation. You need to be able to create a clear and straightforward navigation menu that helps users find what they are looking for on your website very quickly. You can use descriptive labels and organize items logically so that users can easily identify what they came to your website for without really looking almost everywhere and finding nothing. Then another thing you'd also need to do in order to enhance your user experience and navigation on your site is to make sure that you have a consistent design. You need to maintain a consistent design and layout across all of your pages in order for you to provide a cohesive experience for your visitors. Maintaining this consistency also helps to build trust and makes navigation easier for your visitors. Again, I cannot emphasize the need and importance of you having a clear call to action on your website or clear call to actions on your website. You need to make use of prominent and compelling CTAs on your website in order to guide your visitors towards your desired actions. Now, if your website don't have a clear CTAs, clear calls to action, it's really going to be difficult for your visitors and audience to know what next to do on your site. So ensuring that you have CTAs and clear one at that helps you to increase your conversion very, very well, because all your website is about is to get people to take actions, and if you don't have pointers that tells people what to do and where to do what on your site, you're really not going to get results. So you always have to ensure that you have CTAs that stand out and are easy to click. Then the next thing about making sure that you have a better user experience on your site is having readable content. You want to make sure that your content or the content on your site is clear, concise, and they are readable. You want to break long text or long sentences with headings, bullet points, visuals to make it more digestible for your audience and visitors. And lastly, you also talk about we look into accessibility as well. Accessibility is like the features on your site that makes your content really accessible to almost everybody, regardless of their abilities. Even there are laws in some countries that really require websites to also make their content accessible to people with disabilities. So making your website accessible, when search engines and also visitors see that your website is accessible, it kind of helps to increase the conversion rate on your site, and ensuring that your website is accessible to all persons, especially those who are in disability, by using things. You can use things like color contrast, alternate text for images, and then also you can make it keyboard friendly. Have a keyboard friendly navigation rather, that will help your site to rank higher in terms of accessibilities. Very, very important, and listen to this, guys, feedback mechanisms. Really, at the end of the day, you're not creating your website for yourself. You're creating your website for your visitors. You're creating your website for your audience. You're creating your website for your clients and business prospects. And you are not in their minds. You can do what you think is best for your target audience. But at the end of the day, it is actually those who you're targeting for your business that are going to be the judge of all the things you're doing. All right. And in order for you to actually glean into their mind and know what they are thinking about your business, what they would want to see about your product and services, and how better to solve them, you need to have some sort of a feedback mechanism from your audience. And that's why feedback mechanism is very, very important when we're talking about conversion rate optimization. You cannot serve people that you don't know what they want. If you don't know what they want, rather. So you need to provide ways for users to give you feedback on your website. Things like contact forms, live chat, and surveys on your site really go a long way in making sure that you have very effective feedback mechanism on your site, and you use this feedback to continually improve your user experience and the overall value delivery for your business. So very important. In order for you to have higher conversion rate, that's what we're talking about in this course, you need to have enhanced user experience. And there are a lot of things, or a few number of things, that actually go into making sure that you have an enhanced user experience. Some of them being making sure that you simplify the navigation on your site, having a consistent design, clear call to actions, readable content, accessibility, and feedback mechanism on your website. Alright, so these are really very strong points that you need to take care of, you need to take note of, and make sure you implement them in your business if you want to get higher conversion rate. Next, we want to talk about mobile optimization. Alright, mobile optimization, it is very critical and very important in today's website experience. You are really not going to go anywhere if your website is not mobile friendly. Conversion rate will drop drastically because millions of people are viewing web content every day on their mobile devices. So with a significant portion of web traffic coming from mobile devices, optimizing your website for mobile users is very crucial. And here is just how to ensure that you have a great mobile experience. Just a few points to note, and making sure that you have them we go a long way in ensuring that you have higher conversion rates and your business is doing better numbers by having a mobile optimized website, because tons and tons of people are going to be seeing your pages and websites from their phones and mobile devices. And if your website or landing pages, sales pages are not optimized for mobile, you're going to be leaving lots of money on the table. Again, we're talking about responsive designs in making sure that you have mobile responsiveness. You have to make sure that your website has a responsive design. And responsive design is about techniques that ensure that your site adapts seamlessly to different screen sizes and orientation. And this ensures a consistent and user-friendly experience across all devices. So you don't want to make your website that delivers an image to a mobile device in the same size and bit as it does to a desktop device, because the sizes are not going to be the same. So you need to have a website that automatically resizes content based on the screen size of the viewer. So that is what responsive design is all about. It's about using responsive design techniques to ensure that your site adapts seamlessly to different screen sizes and orientation. And this ensures a consistent and user-friendly experience across all devices of your visitors and audience. And then the second thing to note is fast loading times. We talked about this previously when we were talking about your website speed and performance. So fast loading time is also very crucial when we're talking about mobile optimization for your website. You have to make sure that mobile users often have slower internet connections, and that's a fact. Mobile users often have slower internet connections, so it is very important that you optimize your website for speed, and especially when we're talking about mobile optimization. Your whole website have to be optimized for faster speed. Again, it's the same tips as I talked about previously. It's about compressing images on your site, minimizing your codes, and using mobile-friendly formats to improve load times on your site. Again, a lot of mobile devices these days have touch features, so you have to make sure that your website has touch-friendly navigation. Ensure that buttons and links are large enough to be easily tapped with a finger, and avoid placing interactive elements too close together to prevent accidental clicks. Very important. So if you're creating your website, don't put multiple buttons very close to each other. Make them, your links and buttons should be spaced out enough so people can click on them without clicking multiple links at the same time. So it also helps when we're talking about mobile optimization, ensuring that your buttons and links are large enough to be easily tapped with a finger, and then avoid placing interactive elements too close to each other in order to prevent accidental clicks. The next thing is simplifying your forms. Like we talked about, your forms, every website should have a couple of forms depending on what the objective is, but you have to keep your forms short and straightforward. Use autofill features and to minimize the number of fields and make it easier for mobile users to complete them. Autofill features are those features that automatically picks up the user's information from their device and prefills the form, and they can just click and move on to the next stage of the actions that you want them to take. Very important, simplifying your website and keeping it short and straight, and using features that help them to automatically just fill out forms and answer to whatever request that you have of them. Next, about mobile optimization tips, it's optimizing forms and images. Optimizing forms and images. Remember I talked about optimizing images previously, reducing them, compressing them, and also making use of CDN networks to deliver images. Now we're talking about optimizing fonts and images again. And again, that's literally about using eligible fonts and ensuring that texts are readable without requiring zooming, and optimizing images for mobile. It's still about reducing the load time and improving visual appeal. Now, there are certain font sizes that when you use on desktop, it would be readable, but when you view them on mobile, it might really come off either too large or too small. So you have to use website optimization techniques that at the same time also kind of resizes your fonts depending on the screen size of the viewer. Now, a lot of page builders and website platforms has features that automatically takes care of some of these mobile optimization tips that I'm giving you. But in case you're using a platform that does not automatically set these things or put this thing in action, you have to make sure that you manually configure your web pages and websites, landing pages and sales pages to fit into these tips that I'm giving you in this class, because they are really very important. Sometimes you can create very awesome offers, very awesome products and services, and very awesome websites that really look good when you're taking a look at them from your laptop, desktop, or larger devices, without knowing that they look horrible on mobile devices. And about almost half or even more of the visitors who are going to be going to that page or website are going to be looking at your website and pages from their phone screens or smaller devices. And if your pages and websites are not optimized to deliver quality content in the right sizes for mobile users, you are going to be leaving a lot of money on the table, and you're going to be missing a lot, thinking you've done everything necessary without really getting it all right. Like I always say, always test, and test, because it is very important in getting results in whatever you're doing online. You have to make sure you test it. You don't just put things out there and then just send them off. You need to make sure that what you have worked on is working the way you expect them, by also viewing your website and pages from your own mobile devices to make sure that they appear well, just like other people who you are targeting to send to the page. So you have to regularly test your website on various mobile devices and browsers in order for you to be able to identify and fix any usability issues, things. Also, you can use tools like Google's Mobile Friendly Test, and this can also give you some very useful ideas and tips on whether or not your pages and websites are mobile optimized. Alright, and I hope you know the points that we made in this section of the class. We talked about responsive design, fast loading time, touch-friendly navigation, simplifying your forms, optimizing your fonts and images, and then testing all of these on multiple mobile devices to make sure that they are working just as efficiently as you want them to. Now, next, crafting high converting landing pages. Very important. Like I noted initially, we talked about it previously in one of the previous classes, and I'm just touching on it again here. And the lesson is pretty much the same. Your landing pages play a crucial role in converting visitors into customers, and you have to make sure that they are converting really very well by having clear and compelling headlines. Your clear and compelling headlines should immediately convey the value proposition and capture the visitor's attention. You have to keep it concise, clear, and benefit focused. And the next thing about having a high converting landing page is engaging visuals. You have to make sure that you use high quality images and videos to make your landing page visually appealing. Visuals should support the message and help convey the benefits of your offer. Then you also need to have concise and persuasive copy. Your copy have to be clear, concise, and then it also has to focus on the benefits, addressing your visitors' pain points and explaining how your product or service solves their problem. Again, CTAs, you need to have strong call to action. Use a prominent and compelling CTA that clearly tells visitors what actions to take next on your website and pages. Make sure that your CTA stands out visually and is also very easy to click. I've talked about CTAs over and over again. I've talked about landing pages over and over again. I've talked about websites over and over again, because clearly there is nothing you're doing online if you don't have these things. And if you have a website or you have a landing page without a CTA, nobody's going to take any action. And if nobody takes any action on your pages and your website, you don't get any results. Alright, so also on your pages, landing pages as well, you need to have trust signals. Alright, trust signals are very important. This is what gives people confidence and keeps them comfortable to take actions on your page. And some of the trust signals that you can have on your landing pages include things like customer testimonials, reviews, and case studies, and this helps to increase or build credibility and trust. You can also have trust badges and security seals that reassures your visitors that they are safe, their information and data are safe on your website. These are things that helps people to confidently and comfortably take your desired actions on your website and pages. Landing page, like I said in the previous class, is pretty much it's pretty much different from websites. All right, in the sense that your landing pages are goal specific, if I might use that phrase. Goal specific in the sense that every landing page is designed to achieve a particular objective. You might have a landing page for offering an ebook. You might have a landing page for offering a course. Some of you who signed up for this course signed up from a landing page that we created, and the only action that we required of you on that landing page is to sign up. All right, so when you have a landing page, as opposed to having a website that might have multiple services, multiple call to actions, multiple objectives, you can have a website that allows visitors to contact you, allows visitors to sign up, allows visitors to buy your product, to book a call, and do multiple other things. But landing pages is goal specific. All right, it has to be directed to a particular objective, and then in order for you to increase the chances of people taking that desired action on your landing page, you have to remove all distractions, or at least keep them to the barest minimum. You have to minimize distractions, remove every unnecessary element that could distract visitors from the main goal of the landing page. You have to keep the landing page clean and focused on the CTA. So by minimizing distraction on your landing page, you increase the chances of your visitors actually taking your desired actions on the landing page. Again, we're talking about testing again. You have to test various elements on your landing page to find out what works best for your audience and what works best for your visitors. So you have to continuously keep testing different elements of your landing page, such as things like headline, your images, your CTAs, and your copy, and your general body copy, to find out what actually works best for your audience. Like I said previously, you're not creating your pages or your website for yourself. You're creating them for your audience. You're creating them for your visitors. You're creating them for your potential customers and clients. And you cannot sit in one place and assume everything. All right, you cannot know what is on their mind until you can read their actions or get their feedback. So in order for you to actually find out what exactly will appeal or influence my target visitors or audience to take the right action that I want them to take, you want to be able to test out different things. Alright, sometimes you just don't put up one thing on your page and you assume that this is not working. That's not how marketing works. You need to be able to test out different elements on your page to find out what combinations works best. And this and A/B testing is one of the most effective ways to do this. Alright, A/B testing is one of the most effective ways to do this. Again, the last tip about creating high converting landing pages is again mobile optimization. You have to make sure that your landing pages are mobile responsive. You have to have a mobile responsive design and ensure that your landing pages is optimized for mobile devices, not just desktop and not just tablets. It has to be optimized for different devices and making sure that you use responsive design, fast loading time, and also make sure that your landing page is touch friendly so that elements can easily be touched and clicked, and people will have the right sizes of images on their mobile devices and text sizes without really making your website or pages look horrible. Look good on some devices and then look horrible on other devices. That's why mobile optimization is really very, very important, and this helps you to provide a seamless mobile experience for your visitors. Alright, so by focusing on these aspects, improving your website speed, performance, enhancing your user experience, and navigation, also optimizing for mobile experience, and crafting high converting landing pages, you can significantly boost your website conversion rate. And this optimization not only enhances the overall user experience but also ensures that your visitors are more likely to take your desired actions, ultimately driving more conversions and growing your business in the long run. Alright, so that's where we come to the end of the class. And in the next module or in the next class, we're going to be looking at driving traffic to your high converting campaigns. Alright, you have to, when you've done all the things that we talked about so far in this course, without traffic, you have little or no results. So we need to talk about driving traffic to your conversion rate optimization campaigns. Alright, all the best. I'll see you in the next class.